Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. This is another episode of True Dungeon Talk with Trent. My name is Trent of trenttokens.com. I'm a really big fan of the game called True Dungeon and a very avid collector of tokens, which you can see a lot of back here. Oh boy, is today a special show. Before I forget, do that liking and subscribing and sharing with your friends. I'm a horrible YouTuber. I keep forgetting that part. So yes, please like and subscribe to help me spread the love of True Dungeon. So let's just do a quick little recap. You definitely want to stick around for the whole show. We're going to be talking to Jeff Martin, the creator of True Dungeon. For the first time ever, he's going to be doing a Riddle Reveal of Ravenshold. That's something that used to happen at GenCon a long time ago, but we'll talk about that. We're also going to be talking about the next VTD, San Japan, and maybe a little GameCon surprise video, and lots of stuff. Oh, and one other thing, if you stick around until the end, check this out. I will be doing free giveaways. You'll have first place, second place, and third place for gold and treasure chips. First place, as you can see, is a 25k bar and one treasure chip. Second place is a 5k bar and a 3x treasure chip. Third place is a 1k bar and a single treasure chip. So you definitely want to stick around to the end. In order to win that, you must click the little link there at the top and fill it out. I'm just using that information for this giveaway for no other reasons. So please fill that out. And the only way to win is to first fill that out and then be present during the drawing. And then once I pull your name, you need to say, hi, I'm here in the chat. So definitely watch that. But that is plenty of babbling. Let's get right to the man, the myth, the legend. Everyone, please say hello to Jeff Martin.
Yo! Hey, everybody.
Oh, wow. It's a huge audience. Huge audience.
They are.
Oh, wow. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, wow. That's a very nice background you got going on there. Are those the new walls?
Oh, yeah. It's very professional.
Very professional. Speaking of the audience, let's say hello to a handful of people here in chat. Man, oh man, Gilstrive, Steve, Ben, Matthew, Alan, Jordan, David, Jeff, another Jeff, different Jeff, Ian, Garrett, Abby, Chris, Brian, Ben, Tyler, AK, who's at a wedding reception. I see you got your priorities straight, which is good.
Yeah.
We've got John at True Dungeon. That's some stalker. Another Jeff, someone named Me Too, Ben, Kelly, X, I think I got that right. Dave, hello Dave, Larry, who says hello from Western PA. Chris, Ben, there's another Ben, all for the Luz, probably LLLs. Another David, Wayne, McKenzie, and Matthew. Oh my God. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for watching the show live. So, Jeff, how was the recovery from GenCon? I'm still trying to recover myself.
I didn't get sick this year, which is pretty amazing. I went like 38 years without getting sick, other than some alcohol-induced stuff. But the last 2 years I've been sick, and I don't know. For some reason, I managed to skip this year, which is great.
Oh, okay. Now, I caught a little tiny cold bug. I'm still trying to fight that. So if you see me blowing my nose, my apologies to all the people adverse to nose blowing. But we have got, I think the technical term is, let me see if I got this button right, ton of stuff to talk about. So let's dive right in. The first thing is next weekend. Man, last weekend was Gen Con. Next weekend, so we got this week is the show, and then next week is VTD. You guys are busy, huh?
They are. This was John and the crew wanted to do this. They campaigned for it. They were hoping that we would get some new folks that would want to play VTD after Gen Con. So I think it was a good call, and they took it for the team and said, "Hey, let's do it." So Sweet. It should be a lot of fun. It's basically the story. What happens next after Eldest Ice? You sealed the Hellgate, but that might not be permanent solution. So you might want to find a more permanent one.
That is so cool that the beginning VTD led right into the physical dungeons, and now that part 3, if you played that at Gen Con, goes right into this VTD. What a cool little connective tissue there. That's really awesome. So yeah, if you don't have your tickets yet, you can go to td.events. It's next Friday, Saturday and Sunday, 15th through the 17th, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. Especially if you haven't tried virtual yet, this is a great opportunity to try it. And one other thing, a little housekeeping in chat. If anyone has any questions at any point, just type the word question and then what your question is. Anything about True Dungeon, Gen Con, San Japan, Gamehole Con, you name it. All right, and speaking of San Japan, 2 weeks after next week, so at the end of this month, is another physical convention where you'll be holding Rune Crag Crypt, Friday, August 29th through Sunday, August 31st. And you read that right, Sunday. I don't think you've done a Sunday adventure for quite a while, but there will be Sunday adventures at San Japan. Anything you want to share about San Japan?
Just that we're real excited to get back down there and try to grow our presence down there. Tanya puts on a great show. She's an awesome lady, and she treats her people very well. And we hope to really grow it there this year with a full adventure, and see what happens.
Sweet. Thank you for doing that. I was coughing that whole time. So let's see. Wayne has a question. Let's see, got clipped by the Rona. So Gilstrife got sicky pooed. Chris did not get sicky pooed. That's good. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the show. Gilstrife says, I love volunteering this year and got to share the dungeon room with my best friend, which made it so much more fun. That's very nice. Wayne has a question, though. Any transmutes at San Japan?
I don't believe so. It's just not, it's too complicated. We don't have a really great place to store them overnight there. So
okay, awesome. And again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask away. Speaking of San Japan, we've got a little San Japan trailer, so let's watch that together, shall we? Wow. Very, very, very cool. One of my favorite things of all of Gen Con was that image of that scary looking monster, like blowing wind and lightning and everything. Man, that was super cool. Let's see. Brian says, Mr. Cheez-It. Jordan has a question. Valen36. Hello, everyone. Hello. Jordan says, asked, the new players I played with at Gen Con had tremendous experiences. It seemed like the new players had a better time than I recently remember. Was there an emphasis on the new player experience?
I wouldn't, well, maybe. Honestly, I think what our goal this year was just to up the game on as far as trying to make it as accessible to everybody as we can. It's really nice to have these real complicated combat sometimes with lots of saving throws and lots of things that you can use your tokens for. But you also got to remember a lot of times it's the first time for folks, so you want to try to make it so they can enjoy it too without getting too much into the weeds on that kind of stuff. Hopefully you can get your itch scratched on that kind of thing with True Grind. So maybe in the combats we tried to make them a little better, and then we tried to make the puzzles a much more visually interesting. So hopefully that was a big boon for them as well, I think.
Very cool. Well, I think everything you mentioned was quite noticeable. Each of the adventures I thought stood by themselves as being very cool and very fun, something visual to enjoy, a lot of interactivity, NPC stuff. So that was very cool. All right, so Ben says, got a massive transmute order in the works, so many trade goods being made. I know the feeling, Ben. David thinks that ghostly figure was super sweet, and Guildstrife can't wait to do a run. Valen says, same for me. New players in my run had a great time, and I was so happy for them. Ian, I hope I got to help the newbies have fun. He was DM in Eldest Ice, the blue hand, and had lots of fun. Thank you very much, all the blue hands and volunteers.
Yeah.
Steven, a.k.a. Quizboy, has a question. Speaking of new players, I like to take newbies on the dungeons that didn't allow previous tokens or provide XP. Will this return in future cons? So I guess it means the, what's that called? Quest Con or Conquest, something like that?
Conquest. We also did it with two material last year, I believe, where they can only bring in the tokens that they get. That, I don't know, to be honest with you. I will have to think about that. It's cool, but and then it's also not so cool for the people that have invested a bunch of money in tokens and really want to use them. So we get feedback from kind of both sides of that question, and some people can only, like, I only could get tickets for this one event, and now I can't use my token. That's crazy. You know, they don't like that. So that's why we went back to the standard way of doing things.
Got it.
I mean, you can still run it like that, and still do it that way, where you just use the tokens you get. And
yeah, that's true. I love the sealed pack runs. Those are my favorite. And let's see. Let me try to catch up here. Question. Tyler says, or asks, was there true grind this year at Gen Con? Were those tickets on the GC events list? The answer is no. I can answer that one. No true grind at Gen Con. But that it was at Origins, and it will also be at Gamehole Con. Oh, speaking of that, let me do a quick plug for Gamehole Con. If you've never been to Gamehole Con, Friday, 6 o'clock, I believe it is. Cut out a couple of hours there, starting Friday at 6 o'clock. That's when I do a big party, a big free beer pizza party. Everybody gets a Critical Hit soda coupon and lots of free giveaways. Okay, there we go. Next up, Jordan. The physical manipulation of puzzles that involved everyone was great. Rope puzzle and food plate puzzle were great examples. Everyone was intentionally brought in. Natalie also loves sealed pack runs. I agree, Jordan. It was really cool to to touch everything and kind of be part of it. It's very cool. Let's dive into our next section here, the Gen Con recap. Whew, so much going on at Gen Con. First of all, I took this photo. So yeah, and then I also took this photo. I took this photo to make Jeff jealous. I don't think it worked. And then I took this photo to make my wife jealous. I also don't think it worked. She always just says, go ahead. So she didn't care. But something we all cared about was the 3 adventures at True Dungeon. Speaking of that, before we go further, I have a question. This year, for the first time, as far as I know, you did a kind of a combo ticket where you bought one set of tickets and you would go at the same or similar time to each of the adventures, like in the morning or in the evening or something. How did those sell? Did you get any feedback specific to those runs? How did that go?
They sold really well. They sold out, and the feedback was generally really good. People just like the idea of being able to, like, not stress about trying to get tickets for all 3, and that it was nice to kind of have it all set at the same time every day, all 3 days. It was just, we got really good feedback. The kind of the admin headache with that is if somebody doesn't show up on Thursday, then there's some issues with getting, they could, the way Gen Con does it, they keep all the revenue. So we did have a couple people miss their flight and couldn't come. And,
oh no.
Yeah. So
I see.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for it, but I thought it was cool. It's similar to a kind of a D&D thing where you can sign up for 3-day adventure and you're with the same group, so it's kind of cool. So I thought it was a real nifty thing to add, and it sounds like mostly it worked out. Let me check in with chat before we get to the next part. Let's see. Natalie loves Silpack runs. Gilstraff GameholeCon was the first full-time volunteer. Very nice. Garrett loved the plate puzzle. Like a nice brief little break.
Nice to have food occasionally.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't want to tell you which ones were my favorite rooms, but they all had a seat. Chris says, thank you for the party at GameholeCon. Super duper fun to do that. And Jenny Lynn Gerard Sovian, hello to you as well. The Eric Schroeder says we nearly had fistfights over the gem value puzzle. Uh-oh, something was going on there.
Yeah.
Basic Braining DM'd Eldest Ice. Hope you had fun. Let's see if there's any questions here. Lots of chatter. That's great. I'm glad everybody is getting involved. Okay, so let's dive into part 1. This appeared first at Origins, so if anyone saw it at Origins, it was awesome. And if you didn't have a chance to go to Origins, you could see it at Gen Con or vice versa. What would you like to... Oh, actually, why don't we... I'm not going to ask anything about Raid on Ravenshold because we're going to be doing the Riddle Reveal. So let's go to part 2 here, which appears at Gen Con and will also... Oh, it appeared at Gen Con and will also appear at San Japan. What would you like to tell us, if anything, about how Rune Crag Crypt went? Man, that's hard to say. Whew.
I thought all 3 of them, just generally, the event was awesome. The volunteers just kicked complete butt during the setup, during the run of it, during the teardown. It was so nice. Everybody was just awesome, and I had the best time I think I've ever had at Gen Con.
Wow.
This year, just because everybody was everything just went really well. Everybody was really on the ball. They were getting along very, very well. It was a great family type atmosphere, and I can't wait to go back next year.
Man, that sounds awesome. That's quite a statement. The best ever. You've gone what, 45 years maybe? 44?
It's 82, so whatever that is.
Yeah, okay. 42. Somebody with math can help us out with that.
42.
All right, so speaking of that, David says that was very glad that True Dungeon had a bigger presence at Origins. And Chris says volunteers are always amazing. I agree. Garrett liked the benches as well, so not just me. Let's see. Gilstrife says Raid on Ravenshold was another of my friend's first time volunteering, but she was viciously attacked by a prop. I don't know if is there a story there. You know what that story is?
There might be, but this is not the story you're looking for.
This is not the story you're looking for.
No, I think we had somebody end up with a bump on their head from animatronic. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I did not read that comment. Took me a minute. Ben says, took me a minute to figure out the gym one. Didn't realize it was adding to the value and not multiplying, which threw me off at first. Okay, poor Ben. All right, now, so that was part 2. Now we got part 3. Eldest Ice Unbroken. Very cool names, by the way. This first appeared at Gen Con, and if you didn't catch it then, you can catch it at GameholeCon, which I highly recommend. And speaking of something cool, want to turn off our little images here. Jeff surprised me with something kind of interestingly and kind of cool, a little GameholeCon video. So let's check it out, shall we? cool. So
Cool.
the tickets for Vigs go on, Patreon and Vigs go on sale for the True Dungeon, well, for all, I guess, GameholeCon stuff at
Yep.
I think 1 p.m. or that might be noon. So I think it's 1 p.m. for Eastern, so I think it's noon Central on the 16th. And then for everyone else, I think it's on the 30th. Does that sound right, Jeff?
Yes, I believe you are correct.
All right, cool. So get your tickets for GameholeCon real soon. Besides Eldest Ice, there's also going to be a little mini adventure, a 4-room, and also True Grind, right?
Yeah, pretty crazy. We're having the first time ever a brand new adventure at GameholeCon. It's a 4-room one. It's all the room we really had because of the space we're in. But I think it's gonna be really fun. I think you guys will really like it. So
Awesome. If I'm not mistaken, by the way, I don't think you've officially announced that, right? Just GameholeCon kind of officially announced it
I
for
don't know.
you.
If you go to GameholeCon, yeah, I think if you go to Gamehole, if you go there, I think the True Dungeon thing shows it. But
Okay. I hadn't looked at that yet. Okay, so let's dive right into the riddle reveal. But before that, let me check in with chat. Again, if anyone has any questions, pretty please just write the word question and then whatever your question is. Okay, so I'm Ben loved the Giant. I thought the Giant was awesome. Alan says it was great to see both you guys in person. Thanking for making my Gen Con. Wow, that's so nice. By the way, if you see an awesome photo, that means Alan took it, and I have some of those that I'm about to show you. The Jordan says the Predator Prey puzzle haunts my nightmares. Ready for another crack at it at GameholeCon. Good. And Bill says hi, Bill. Welcome. Ben says the videos this year have been top notch. Grab attention and get you very excited. So, speaking of that, do you want to say anything about the videos?
yeah, I don't want to sound like too much of a bragger daddy, but yeah, basically, my son Drake, who has a bachelor's in video production now, he was the one that did all the special effects videos and
Very
trailers
nice.
and stuff. He's
Very
helping
nice.
out Rob doing some stuff when he can, but yeah, he was the one that did like all the videos in the dungeon and all the overhead stuff. So
They're
it's nice to be able to work with him, and it's nice that we have him here in house, so it's a lot easier to test stuff. So we're able to take it up a notch because we can actually see what it looks like on the actual table or in the actual set. So
Okay.
him
I see
being
what you're saying.
here is we haven't had that ability yet, so it's nice that he's here.
He has a distinct style. It's very dynamic, lots of motion, and it's entertaining. I think he does very well. Let's see. Jeff says noon Central. Thank you, Jeff. So that was noon Central on the 16th. Jordan has a question. Is there going to be transmuting at GameholeCon?
Oh yeah, there'll be a lot.
Yeah. There's
Probably
your
our
answer.
#1 transmuting con. So anything goes.
Oh, that's right. That's when you can first do Safehold 1, right?
Yeah, and you can bring in all your Dwarven steels and Minotaur hides and whatever else you want to make. Just bring it all.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Trade goods and Safehold 1.
they give us a really nice facility room to use, so we're able to with grid lighting, and we can really process a lot of stuff there. So
So maybe I'm a little too excited for Safehold 1, sorry. All right, so next question, Metaphoric Dragon. Question, can you give an elevator pitch explanation of grind? So what do you think, Jeff? You want to take a crack at that?
for the general event, sure.
Yeah,
The general
explain
event is,
true grind. What is true grind?
it started many years ago, and it's pretty much kept the same kind of general purpose, but it's a way for people that are really into TD combat to enjoy about an hour or so just non-stop fun, different variations of combat. Paul's been doing an amazing job, him and his team, of putting on a great true grind events. They put a lot of work into it and a lot of imagination, and it's awesome. If you love TD combat, if you like sliding and doing all the mini maxing and figuring out the tactics and strategies that are best for different monsters and all that, True Grind is for you. So that's it.
Perfect. It's a perfect pitch. Lots of death and mayhem and lots of fun. Highly recommend it. Brian has a question. Will the 4-room include a completion token for the Bifrost Charm Transmute?
Yes, and it'll get XP as well.
Wow. Cool. Brian is just like me. Brian says, take my safe hold 1 money. I'm with you, Brian. Alan says the videos were amazing and it was cool seeing Drake around the dungeon too. I don't know if I saw Drake. I think he was hiding. Natalie says grind is a blast. Ben says true grind was so much fun at Origins. Absolute chaos and nonstop fun. I absolutely agree. David says true grind was an absolute blast at Origins. Really enjoyed the story. Thanks again, Trent, as you helped me out on that one. Oh, did I help you? You're welcome. I don't know what I did, but you're welcome. It is a lot of fun. Paul does an incredible job there. And a little tidbit of info, just in case you didn't know. I think maybe a lot of people know, but just in case there's someone who didn't know, in 2025, there's an ultra rare called Pick's Grindstone. Well, Pick, P-I-C-C, is Paul's avatar name, forum name. And if you think about it, true grindstone. So that's named after him.
That's total accident.
Yeah.
Total accident.
Oh boy. Tammy says, this was my first Gen Con and my first in-person True Dungeon after a number of VTD events. The groups I jumped in on helped me make my games amazing. Played all 3. Thank you for a wonderful experience. How about that, Jeff?
That's great. When you get a great group, it's back in like the late it was probably 83. I got into with a great group of people from all over the country to play the AD&D Open, and this was well back before email. And we would send each other postcards every year, and we would figure out when we were all going to play again. And we played together for probably 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
We had a great time. So yeah, you can make lifelong friends there.
I'm with you there. I have a bunch of nerds as well that are my forever nerds. I'm with you there. Ben says super solid token for any build. The Pick's Grindstone, it is a good token. I recommend it. But speaking of something good, man, we've got a lot to cover, so we should get back to the Riddle Reveal. All right, I'm going to reveal something else too. So this is the Raid on Ravenshold Riddle Reveal. When I was young, I had a speech impediment. I probably still do. And I would say wed, like wabbit, with a W. So saying all of these R's is really hard, man. So enough with the R's, okay? Okay? All right. Sorry. Had to get a little aggression there. Let's show everybody something. Hopefully everyone had seen this, but just in case you haven't, this is the intro trailer that you would see when you begin the Raid on Ravenshold adventure.
It has been nearly a dozen years since your people, the proud raiders of Runeheim, were driven from their lands by an invasion of demon-like animal fiends. They came by surprise in the middle of the night, and most Runelanders were butchered without mercy. Those Runelanders out on raids were spared from the slaughter, and they settled across the sea. But now it is time for revenge, and for Runelanders to retake their sacred homeland from the vile beasts that infest it. Your mission is to sneak into the demon-infested interior of Runeheim, to the ruined village of Ravenshold. There you must recover a divine spear, which will give Runelanders a great aid to rid the land of the demon beasts of Helheim. Your journey begins now at sea, aboard your longship near the coast of Runeheim.
Very cool. So you're on a boat. Let me take this quick little opportunity to remind everyone, if you want to partake in the drawing, please click the link that's pinned to chat. You must be here in order to, wherever the chat is. You must be here in order to take part, and these are the prizes: first, second, and third. Very yummy prizes. And also, if you haven't done that liking and subscribing yet, please do that, because it helps spread the love of True Dungeon. David says the boat was a fantastic intro to the three-part story. I agree. And here's an image from room 1. There was a sea monster. I was in the Navy, So when I stepped into this room, I thought I was back out in the ocean. Super, 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 super cool room. Amazing for brand new people. I commend everybody who had anything to do with this room. It was unbelievable. Oh, so good. So what would you like to tell us about the Room 1 Sea Monster?
Well, let's see. It was a fun little combat. We didn't want to make it too complicated, but we thought it would be fun to have a little like who's on watch mechanic, just to kind of give it some kind of extra fun without getting too complicated. So there was a little built in at the beginning of who's on watch and who's asleep, and that delayed things a bit for the people that were on asleep. It gave some of the veterans who had some certain tokens to flex a little bit of token fun there, and awaken everybody if they had a certain horn, I think, other things. So it was, and then after that it was just kind of a fun. The Nightmare and Epic had a few little extra little things thrown in where they were like held for a while, and and it gave people a free movement a chance to say, oh, I'm not, I have this cool token. So it was fun. And I think the people running the room did a great job of selling the whole experience, and there was some timing involved with when to trigger the effects and everything. And I think they, after only a few times running it, they got it down really well, and I think it was a well-run room.
Yeah. And speaking of the effects, at the end, this happened. We defeated the monster, or scared it away.
Yeah. That was awesome. I tinkled a little. I think everybody tinkled. I think no. After we saw that here in the shop, my Drake was like, "Yeah, we got to have a subwoofer on that." So that was one of the few rooms that had a subwoofer there because it needed the extra.
Oh, cool! Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, one of the best intros I've ever seen. It was really great. Let's see. Garrett says the half walls made you feel like you were on the deck of an actual boat. Top notch immersion. I agree. GF321 is saying it was the Minotaur Horn of Alert. I agree. Ben also agrees that was very handy. Once you finished room 1, it was off to room 2. And at Origins, I might have positioned my wife. I was like, oh, here, stand over here, because we don't get in the way of something. So I might have scared her. And if you hadn't seen this yet, it gets scary. What a crazy room. What would you like to tell us about the Wailing Winch room?
Wailing Winch, yes. Yeah. When we saw this is a brand new animatronic available this year from an old haunt supplier, makes great animatronics, and when we saw it at the haunt show, we were like, oh, this is amazing. We got it. It kind of fits with it's like a kind of a I guess seafaring kind of thing, so we thought it went really well with the Viking thing, so it went really well. So yeah, we wanted to definitely incorporate this thing in because it looked really cool. The actual real prop, you can't tell, but there's a pipe in the mouth. She also spits water. If you ever run into one of these in a haunted house, be careful because she's probably going to spit on you.
That's funny. I did not see that part. I assume you chose to not implement that piece.
Due to slipping hazards and stuff, we decided better not spit on people. So, yeah.
Got it. Cool. Yeah. And we also had this image here, which I think is pretty cool. It shows you beautifully the different parts of a different type of monster. I think it's kind of cool. Looks like the crit was on the cheek, so I guess the face. Yeah, it looks like the whole face there. Yeah.
Yeah. In this combat, there were some saving throws. We wanted saving throws to have a big part. So the first round, because she was undead, she spits forth a real vile thing, and everybody has to make a fort save. And then after that, she wails and basically makes you make another save to see if you can withstand the power of the sonic wheel attack.
Right. And there's a lot of dead zones here too with your puck, so I think that's kind of cool. And if you think about it, the monster is like parrying your attack, so you hit the sword and nothing happens.
Right.
I think it's kind of cool.
Yep.
Ben says so much space for Kilgores there, nice and juicy targets.
Yeah.
Valen36, love the animatronics. I do as well. Metaphoric Dragon has a question. Was she the one that got you drunk? Did she have a drunken ability?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, that's
Yep.
right. Had to look at the ceiling. Oh, that's right. All the weird stuff. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, if you missed your fort save, you were drunk, and yeah, basically, she was basically tortured. Well, her backstory is basically she was tortured by being made to drink a bunch, and she fell overboard and drowned. So that was kind of her undead power, was to get people drunk with her, stuff.
Got
So,
it. That's cool.
yeah, and then on hardcore, you instead of looking up to slide, you had to slide with your nightmare epic. You had to slide with your offhand.
Mm-hmm.
Made it a little harder for them.
That's very, very cool. At first, I thought the Dungeon Master was picking on us because I think some Dungeon Masters like to pick on my group. But he's like, no, it's in the module. And I was like, no way. So I thought that was kind of cool. Metaphoric Dragon says, I think Drawer Fighter should have been immune, already drunk. Something to think about. Maybe you could have talked to the Dungeon Master about that.
Or a certain green monk, maybe.
Yeah. So that was room 2. And then we jump into room 3. Our first puzzle, you called it Worlds Collide. Incredible graphics in this room. Unbelievable graphics.
Yeah, we were trying to get a puzzle to get everybody kind of operated. So we made these 10 heavy things that hopefully everybody grabbed one and we were able to work together. We tried to make them heavy and sturdy and feel really like big pieces that everybody would want to grab one and get everybody involved. So I think it was cool.
I think that was very effective. And it was kind of cool that they were around the room too. So you had to investigate. I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
You have to investigate what's going on. But I mean, look at this table. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And here's a little...
What was cool about this room was that this is where you picked up a traveling NPC. We haven't had one of those in a while, and we decided to try to bring it back in a limited form this year, just to get enough volunteers to be able to do it. So here you're able to pick up a Viking spirit that maybe went along with you for a while, for a few rooms, as you traveled along the trail to get to the exit of the trail.
Yeah, it was extremely cool. I think this took my group a couple times. Usually we play on like Epic though, so maybe there's less clues or a little harder. But yeah, this room was just visually stunning. Let's see, checking in on the chat. Ben says the visuals on this puzzle were gorgeous. I agree. Valen36 says yes, very well drawn. Also, man, I remember on my run, our paladin got a crit, but the last player to slide hit his puck out of the 20 spot. Man, don't you hate when that happens? Me too. Loves this puzzle. Metaphoric Dragon says the NPC was great Saturday afternoon. Yeah, the NPCs were awesome. I think we saw them all because we ran so much. And if you did solve it, again, it took us a couple times. You probably did like this.
Yay.
And what would you like to tell us about the answer to this puzzle? The reveal part of this puzzle.
Yeah, what we ended up doing here was the way the clue on the wall gives you, this is how you could do it if you followed the clues, like how they all fit together. But we allowed it to, as long as you got all 10 of them in there somehow, then you succeeded. As you can see, once it's in there, there's quite a bit of room left over. It just it's funny how it just takes you a while to figure out how to get them all in there. 9's easy. That 10th one is the problem.
Got it. Awesome. Let's see. KT has a question. Are these characters / monsters / NPC backstories available online?
No, unfortunately. You might get some more backstory on virtual, but we used to publish the modules and stuff, but it was a real time sink because we want them to be, we're going to publish them to be better than what we do when we just have them for staff and volunteers to run. So it just felt it wasn't worth the time sink to be able to publish them I'd rather throw my energy and everybody else's energy into, the modules that are coming up next.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Got it.
unfortunately, now if you volunteer, you'll get backstory.
Uh-oh.
Because you'll get to read the modules. So
There you go.
or at least read or two. So.
Sounds like a reason to volunteer.
Yeah, and if you become a adventure coordinator, you get the whole module. So there you go.
That's where it's at, baby. Be an adventure coordinator. Jeff says the rogue clue actually helped on this puzzle. Are you saying sometimes the rogue clue doesn't help, Jeff? Jeff Green, is that what you're saying?
Sometimes they are loved to say.
Metaphoric Dragon says, actually, I think our run was right behind Trent's group. Sorry, we usually leave the room in a mess. The Rocket Smith says, I was with Dave and his 850th run through this adventure. Wow. That was an amazing, beautiful timepiece you gave him. Speaking of that, can you believe that? Dave has done 850 runs. Now I'm even more.
That guy's amazing.
Yep, pretty crazy. He's a good guy, too. So that was room 3. Let's dive into room 4. Gore Boar Combat. Dave says that also that timepiece was heavy. Thanks for watching the show.
Yeah,
Dave.
it was kind of a double-edged sword there. Like, here you go, here's this really cool thing. Now you get to carry it. But I don't know if you realized that it was also a stool that he could sit on anytime he wanted. So
did you? I bet he didn't think about that because that would be dangerous. Dave, did you know it was a stool as well?
It's very well made. I made it myself. You can stand on it if you want.
Wow.
We have to make stuff with the players using it. We got to make it really tough. So
That's
are oak.
Cool.
Spindles are oak. So
when did you make that? Was it used for that? Isn't it like a 2008 token, Hourglass of Imprisonment? Was it used for that or not?
That was used last year for one in the Snake Temple puzzle room where you had to do the hourglasses. So
that's right. There was a bunch of them, and you had to make them all stop at the same time. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So yeah, but it was signed and didn't want to smudge the awesome signature. He didn't want to sit on your signature. That's what Dave says. All right. So room 4.
This was cool because you may have been surprised that the NPC said, "I'm coming with you." Hopefully that was cool. And you also got to see an opening gate and closing gate. We made that one really sturdy out of wood and put a nice hinge on it. The guys in the shop did a good job of crafting that, so it opened and closed really well. Then you went in, you came around the corner, and this bad demon boar guy would come out of the wall and attack. And the Blue Hands is doing this, I think, did a really good job. Every time I went by there, they were really into it. I mean, they don't want to do it all the time because then it gets distracting and not cool. But whenever it's like the boar's turn, I think they did a great job and made it fun.
This was very cool. The NPC said, "Oh, we're just gonna rest here." And I was like, "Oh, that's nice. We'll just take a little break." No, it was not true. There was no resting. It was a very scary monster.
And this was a monster that had a very smelly kind of musk, I guess you want to say.
Oh, that's right. And if you had a certain token, you could breathe and not be affected by the stank. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he was also because he was vulnerable to cold as well, so you could do a little more damage based on depending on what level you were, difficulty level. But
right,
you definitely do a little extra damage with some cold.
And that was determined by the bard lore, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool when a bard can figure out the lore for that. Jordan says, ran this dungeon 3 times and failed every single saving throw against the beast. Extremely fun thematic fight. I know the feeling, Jordan. There was one dungeon where I was turned into stone every single time. Doesn't matter what I rolled, I was turned into stone. Mm-hmm. Right after that dungeon, I brought my damage down a little bit and my saves way up. And I still do a lot of damage, but now I save more. So you might want to work on your saves. The Rocket Smith says all of the animatronics / puppets were excellent this year. I agree. Metaphoric Dragon says the Bracers of the Frost for the win. Yeah, very cool. And Chris has a suggestion. Barbarians should get a plus against stench because, I mean, aren't we already stinky?
Yeah, whatever.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
My
anybody that's been
barbarian.
in a Gen Con bathroom on a Saturday afternoon,
Oh,
also
yeah.
immune, totally immune.
Yeah. Speaking of that, my wife says she wants to go to Gen Con next year, and I'm warning her. So we shall see if she really wants to do it. I would love for her to come. I think it would be great to at least see it once. So that was room 4. Next up, room 5. Name that rune.
Yeah, I really liked working on this puzzle. I got to work with Drake on it a bunch to do the overhead
cool.
mapped spell effects. This was a special 4K laser projector that we used a truss to line it up and set it on there. And then we found these really cool green LEDs that don't have any batteries or anything, but when you get them close to like a phone charger type thing, they'll light up. So we thought it'd be really cool and magical, especially that first time when you place it down and it glows. It was like, ooh, cool. I like to give those like 2-second little surprise what the heck's going on things. If I can get one person 2 hours for 2 seconds to be freaking out, or what the heck just happened, that's
Yeah, well, visually, I mean, this was like a double home run. I don't know what's better than a home run, but this is what's better than a home run. It's unbelievably visually stunning. I mean, there's just so much going on, and the NPC followed you to this room as well. And there was a clue on the wall that I just showed. Lots of visual.
Yeah, it was a tough puzzle.
Stuff.
We ended up being able to. We added a little helper to know where to start. So yeah, we were, the solve rate went up a lot once we did that. But yeah, basically the hard part was to figure out where to start.
Yeah. I believe at Origins we couldn't figure it out. I think it took us a couple tries, and I don't recall the beginning being the same from Origins. Is that what you're talking about? Was that the tweak made?
Like we just added a little extra thing. Yeah. Yeah. The secret here was that we were supposed to start where the shadow lies, and just using the old the old adage about moss grows on the north side of trees, because that's where, most of the time, especially this summer, it's always shadow. So that was a little difficult, but I was hoping that maybe I think we figured that out, because we took some fake moss and put a huge thing on there, and I was hoping that was going to be super noticeable. I think what happened over time is people rubbed up against it, and some of it fell off, so it wasn't super noticeable after a while. So that's why we added the compass, the direction compass on there.
Got it. Yeah, no, it seemed easier this time. Let me check in with chat here. Let's see. So, any questions? If there's any questions in here, let me know. All right. Now, the answer, the revealing part of the reveal, this was the answer. So, what do these runes say, Jeff?
Well, they say the name of the place that you're going to, that the trail leads to, the whole thing, the whole Ravenshold. So they're just in mirror image. There's a little bit in the clue about reflect, and a little other clues that maybe the rune should be seen in the mirror. And there's mirrors actually in the little sockets. So
right, if you hold the rune over and then look into this little socket, you can see what it's supposed to be. Is that right?
Yeah, that was the plan.
Right, that was the plan. It took us a couple tries to kind of figure that out as well. Because one thing that you do, I think, is you're very good at red herrings. And what a lot of people do, I think, is once they grab onto whichever red herring it is, it's over. They just go to crazy town, and there's just no turning back.
I completely agree. It's really interesting to watch how groups work in the first minute of a puzzle type thing like this, because usually it's the first person to speak up with an idea if it's a good idea, then they're on their way to solving it. If it's not the right way to go, it tends to dominate just because it was the first thing said. So a clue would, or maybe a tactic to do would be, hey, everybody, let's say for the next minute are just some ideas, and then we'll pick what we think might be the best after that.
Oh, I think that's the first time I've heard you give that suggestion. So you heard it here, everyone. Jeff is the one who does the puzzles. He's suggesting the first minute or so, everyone throw out ideas, and then everybody pick which one of those ideas they want to attempt. Pretty cool suggestion. Now, if you succeeded, you saw this video projected onto the table, right?
Yeah, this looked pretty cool, and they went right to the green glowing rune stone. I wish that we could have better light control cons, that we could have darker rooms, but with all the light and everything, and the general safety that we have to have.
Yeah.
Because in the actual workshop here, where we could get it darker, it looked amazing.
Wow. So. Yeah. Challenges, right? Challenges.
Yeah.
But it was still super cool. We didn't know what you knew, so we saw what, that's what we knew, and it was very cool to see. So Chris is actually Laura. Hello, Laura. You weren't making as many spelling errors, so that's why I didn't know that was not Chris. So Laura can spell. Oh, Chris is here too. My iPad used his ID to log in. Sorry, son. So Laura says that it looked great in person, Jeff. Really cool. This next room, room 6, the brute battle. David says the troll and our interaction with him at Origins was my favorite room I have done to date. So his most favorite room ever. And that was Brandon, if I'm not mistaken, at Origins. Is that right?
Yeah. So I would love to take credit for making this room cool. But it's really Brandon Mace who at Origins took it and ran with it, and he made it really cool. And he showed us, hey, you could make this really fun and cool for the party by having him be very interactive. So big kudos to Mr. Mace. So
yeah, Brandon did great.
So then when we got to GenCon, of course, we were like, hey, unfortunately, he had some army training and he couldn't come. But,
army training, sir!
Yeah, unfortunately. But we still stole his idea. And
yeah.
So if anybody asks, this was all my idea, not Mr. Mason.
Got it.
So.
Everything was your idea. Brandon was just doing what you said. You heard it here first, everybody. Tyler says Jeff's idea was brilliant. Our group had huge issues with the alpha gamer teachers running roughshod over the rest of us. So about the suggestion. There we go. The controller in the brute was the best thing ever at Origins. So Eric Schroeder says Brandon was killing it. I agree. David says Brandon was awesome. Metaphoric Dragon says Hill Giant and DM were a hilarious comedy duo. We have the giant Maraca for a bit. Crystal says Brandon was amazing. Mark says he was a blast. Smash. The kids at Origins loved him.
All in the DMs worked really well with them, and they were like it was like Dean and I'm old. I shouldn't have said Dean and
Lewis. Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin.
Yeah,
I'm old enough to know that too.
They were a comedy team. They did a great job making it a fun combat and just a great room. So
it was an incredible room, really great, and nice work. Is it okay if I reveal how you came up with this animatronic?
Sure.
All right. So Jeff, about 6 months ago, said that he wanted to do an animatronic, and he said he wanted it to, since I do a lot of cheerleading for True Dungeon and sharing the love, etc., and he had a sculptor, sculpt my face, and as you can see, it's an exact duplicate. So
uncanny.
It's uncanny resemblance. So it's and Jeff
the beard
told me,
fell off later, but
it was called the Handsome Hill Giant. So thank you for putting me in the show. That was really nice of you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. So next up is room 7. So let's watch a little background. Tell us what's going on in room 7.
Well, this was the split room where you could decide whether you wanted to fight a guardian there for the spear, or if you wanted to try to enchant it and get it properly blessed so that you could then take it and use it. What's fun too about at GameoCon, the 4-room adventure that we talked about, it takes place right after this. You're actually going to have that spear in the next room doing something with it.
Cool.
So it tells a story of basically going from Runecrag Crypt to Elvis Dice Unbroken. What happened between that journey and how you got there. So
very cool.
But anyway, this was another great puzzle fun table that I got to play with Drake on and Troy and John. Troy did some really good stuff with the electronics. The little gems lit up, and we had to figure out a way to control them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was incredible. So yeah, this was each of the dungeons at Gen Con this year, and I guess every other convention this year, you can have a combat or a puzzle choice, and room 7 was the choice here. So you could do a combat choice, which you have to, fight this extremely powerful being who is immortal. So I don't think you killed them. You basically did enough damage that you earned their respect. Is that the gist?
Yes. Yeah, and we had some cool projected spell effects that were based with the combat, so we wanted to make that kind of fun. It worked fairly well. We learned some stuff, and a lot of it just depends on how we can effectively project them. But we've got some plans for next year that should even be cooler. So
cool. One amazing benefit that I recommend if you can do these multiple dungeons more than once or go to multiple conventions. So it's something that I enjoy very much. I get to see all the different paths, the combat path and the puzzle path. I think I can't remember what our first time through, but I don't think we figured out the puzzle. I think it took us a couple times to figure out the puzzle. But so you had the clue for the puzzle, and I thought that image there was really cool too, in the dungeon to kind of set the mood. So it was a multiple step puzzle to figure it out. And
it was a room 7 puzzle, so it needed to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
It was. Yep, the failure rate was pretty high, but that's kind of how we do it with room 7s. So, but I wanted it to be a really big accomplishment when you get a room 7 puzzle figured out. So, hopefully everybody's cool with the failure rate, but I think that just makes it more fun long term. That you'll really remember those room 7 puzzles that you get. So,
with my group, when we are out of spells and we all have like a couple of hit points left, that means we had a good time. So it's okay to fail a room 7 puzzle. Checking in on chat. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Myron, hello Myron. Myron has a question. Are any rooms new at San Japan? Do you mean for Eldest Ice? What do you think?
I think for San Japan, he's talking about Runecrag Crypt. No new rooms.
Oh, San Japan. Sorry, Runecrag Crypt.
Yeah, but we are tweaking things so that I think it'll be better than what it was at Gen Con. So especially the final room, we're making a few maybe tweaks there that'll make the final room even cooler, I think.
Cool. Got it. Yeah. So if you did Origins and Gen Con, you saw a little bit of a tweak with the puzzle, but I think you guys most of the time tweak something when it goes to, unless you announce that there's definitely going to be a different room.
Right.
I think there's at least tweaks for the better generally. Now, so with the puzzle, you had to go through each of those clues, and there were multiple steps to do that. And here's another image of this incredible table. And like you were saying, that there were little things that lit up. And the rogue clue kind of, I think, was good because, I think it kind of said, well, there's a certain pattern to it. At least that's what I was able garner from that. And speaking of the pattern, what would you like to reveal about the puzzle here?
Oh, I mean, I could just go quickly through the whole thing. Like, there were like 6 steps that you had to do. The first one was basically you just had to strike all the anvils one at a time, or in a circle 3 times, just to cleanse the table. That just kind of got everybody to be fine with hitting the thing. And then the next step was to ignite the coals. Troy made a really cool effect where the black coals started glowing if you did, and basically everybody just had to hit the anvil once, and when they did that, it told you which one of the gems that your anvil was keyed to, because that was important for the next thing, where you basically had to light the gems on the shaft in the right order by remembering what your gem was. So hopefully you paid attention.
Right.
And then after that, you basically had to make these runes. We ended up we ended up taking the sacred rune out for time. So even though it shows sacred here, you had to make the sacred rune. I think you just had to make the enchant, the fire, and the lightning, and those were found around the room on the illustrations.
Got it.
And this kind of told the DM which ones. And then if you did that, you got big crazy success.
Yeah, speaking of that, there was this very cool success video.
Yeah, they did Greg did a great job of mapping this all to the spear and the table and everything, and the handles. So that was wanted to have something really cool, special effects. It looked really neat with the coals glowing and the gems glowing, and yeah. So that was basically the big thing. And then the DM would hit the grand success thing too, which would happen next.
Yeah, so it was unbelievable. Yeah. A lot of the rooms had visual things happening. And speaking of that, I think you changed the success video, right? The room success or sound and visual representation. You added visual representation and the sound was different. Isn't that right?
Right, yeah. We've been using that same standard one for a number of years, and we thought, well, let's just theme it to the year's theme. So next year it'll be different as well. We're going to theme it to more of the 2016.
Oh, really? So you're thinking each year the success of the room sound will be different and tied to that year's theme?
Yeah, this year the success was like crows, like Odin's crows were watching, and they kind of flew off, and you heard them cackle a few times, and then ravens, and then then you saw some interesting stuff. So yeah, next year we'll change it again.
Wow, that's cool. That's very cool. All right, so if there are any questions in chat, please ask away, because we need to let Jeff go and build more stuff for more dungeons. And again, if you want to enter the drawing, please click on the link that's pinned in chat, and I'll be doing that drawing very soon. And let's see. Oh yeah, liking and subscribing to help spread the love of True Dungeon. Please do that. And let me go to the chat here. James says the puzzles were awesome to complete, and Valen36 has something to share. I'll try to do it in their voice here.
Ring-con.
So I think someone's excited. Brian loved the final combat of Runecrag Crypt. Matthew says the effects on the table were fantastic. I agree. Gilstrife says, I swear the puzzles get better and better every year. So
we try.
Cassandra says the music in it was beautiful. And Chris has a question. Uh-oh. You ready? Here it is.
I'm ready. Okay.
Any reveal on the Silver Ship Passage Outpost Nil yet?
Funny you should mention that. Yeah, I think you'll like it. I don't want to spoil it, but There'll be something you can do at for all. We have 4 actually of those. We have a fun little room designed for each one of them. You'll be able to. Shouldn't have said that. John's gonna kill me.
That's the first
But
time you
no,
said that. That's the first time you said that.
Yeah.
You've only said Neil has 1 room. You didn't say anything about the other ones.
Oh my
There'll
god, oh
be
my
like
god, oh my god, oh my god.
there'll be a scheduled time basically that you can come to this area, and it'll be set up for your visit to those, because you're basically getting on a silver ship and you're sailing across the Silver Sea to this land, and you have a little challenge to partake in, and if you happen to meet the challenge, you get a little something to take with you.
Okay. Calm down. Are you saying that Nil, you can do something, and then Mirthwood is something different, or is it the same thing? And then Pemberton, and then Melonbrand.
Yeah, they'll all be different, but they'll all be in the same location, just different times. But the sets will be different. So there'll be a portal that you go through at RingCon, and yeah, you'll be able to have some fun. So there's going to be 4 little quick little things, little challenges you can do to see if you can earn something to take.
What are you saying? What? Oh my god. What? I'm okay. Oh my god. We got the reveal of the reveal. Lord have mercy. By the way, if you hadn't planned on doing that, now you have to do it because you said it.
That was the plan. Yep, it should be fun. You'll see, hopefully.
Wow. Oh my god, I'm so excited. That sounds awesome. As you can imagine, I've been collecting a couple of each just in case I needed to help friends. Yep. Okay, so let me check here with the chat. People are going crazy. Myron says he's coming plus his 4 sons. Mackenzie 17 can't wait. Myron says, how many times each room for the passageway? What?
He's probably asking how many times can he do it. Just every time you turn in one of the passageway tokens gives you a shot at it. So if you've got 20 of them, you got 20 shots, whatever you can earn, and I'll post them.
Wow. I did not collect 20 of them. Jordan says, breathe, everyone. Also talking to myself. Ben says, holy cow. Cover Stealing Badger. Hello, Cover Stealing Badger. Question. Will a 4-room Gamehole Con run be anywhere else?
No, it'll just be there only. It's going to be Viking themed, and like I said earlier, it's between Runecrag Crypt and Eldest Ice. It tells the story of how you got from you can't go out the way you came. You got to go out the back door, and there's some adventuring to be had. Oh. And you might run into some people that get mentioned earlier in Runecrag Crypt.
Ooh, so I just want to say it again to make sure I got it. Story-wise, the 4-room dungeon at Gamehole Con is in between Part 2 and Part 3, Runecrag Crypt and Eldest Ice. Is that right?
Yeah. So it makes like a really nice little prequel adventure, because Eldest Ice is also at Gamehole Con. So I thought it'd be really cool to make a little 4-room prequel adventure that happens. So you can play that one actually, and then it would segue right into Eldest Ice.
Perfect. That is awesome. Matthew, question. So are there only going to be 4 silver ship tokens, none for 2026? Question mark.
I don't know. You have to wait and see what happens with the 26th treasure. We have some crazy stuff happening. Maybe we'll see. I don't want to answer because I don't want to spoil the fun. I like it when people get their January VTD treasure and they are excited to open it because they don't know what they're going to find in there.
Okay. There we go. Good question. Good answer. Chris Canary, I cannot make RingCon, but I do have a nil. All right, Chris, whatever is preventing you from going to RingCon, we got to solve that problem. James is a man of my own heart. He says, must have all the tokens. I agree. Mackenzie, I can't wait. Gilstripe says, wow, 4 different things. I know I clarified, even though I could hear it, but it was hard to breathe, so I had to say it again. Ben says, was wondering what those were for. Got a couple of those cryptic blue tokens and treasure. Now you know. Brian says, but will Jeff survive the week now that he spilled the beans? So who's coming after you, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't know. I might get in trouble with the crew here. So see you on Monday.
All right, so now I got to get 7 tokens so my best friend can join me. I agree. All right, so let me see if there's any. So Myron, oh my God, Myron, you crazy? Myron says, is there enough time to do 20 of them? 20 of each, he says. You got 20 of each? Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be stretched out through the whole weekend, so there should be plenty of time.
Valen says, thank you for the voice. That is my barbarian voice. Jordan says, what's a socially acceptable number of silver ship passage tokens to own coming into ReNeCon?
You're asking the wrong guy. I mean, I don't know how many people have, so whatever you got's cool. I'm not gonna, I mean, you've earned them. If you got them, you've earned them. So enjoy them and have fun with them. And hopefully whatever the little challenge is doesn't get boring. If you got a bunch of them, you might be like, hey, I've got 10 more left. I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm just going to give these to somebody.
Give them to someone else, right? But there are 4 distinct challenges, though, right? Notice how I'm re-asking the question. Wow. So I would say, Jordan, you want at least 1 of each, right? All right, I'm checking the chat to see if there's any more questions here. Okay. Rocket Smith says, can't make ReNeCon, so willing to trade passes to Melibrant for a Charm of Avarice. Good luck. He wants to strike while the hype is hot.
Yeah, good idea.
Suddenly, Canary is no longer able to ask questions in Trent Talks. Oh, did I miss one of your questions, Chris? I cannot make ReNeCon, but do have a nil. I don't see. Ask it again if I missed your. All right, so question. All right, so Valen has a question. Question: will the passages be group challenges? Ooh, interesting question.
That I cannot reveal because we're still working on them.
Got it.
So, honestly, I just don't know yet. We're playing around with some ideas, but by next May we'll have it all figured out.
Okay. Myron is just question man today. Is there a cost for each use? I guess for the adventure of the thing.
No.
The cost is turning them in, right?
Yeah, you got to turn it in, and that's your little passage, and you're sailing off to Outpost Nil or wherever you're going, and you're going to have a opportunity to do a little challenge there and sail back.
Wow, man, that's so awesome. Chris is just clarifying, asked the rough question that has thrown everything into chaos. Thank you, Chris, for asking good questions. All right, so Jeff, I think that concludes an amazing reveal video with revealing even more of the revealing, and you also added the GameholeCon video. Man, this was quite the show. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you to the whole staff who killed it at GameholeCon. And I'm looking forward to the staff's work next weekend for the VTD, and then 2 weeks after that, San Japan, and then 2 weeks after that, the next VTD, and then in October, GameholeCon. Oh my God, it's busy. It's hard work being a fan of True Dungeon. Am I right?
Yeah, you should talk to John and Troy. It's hard work.
We're making everything.
And VPN, they're all kicking butt. So yeah. If I could say before I go,
I was about to say anything you'd like to share. Go for it.
I just want to thank everybody for an awesome Gen Con. The staff, the volunteers, the players, all the new players, all the veteran players. We all had a blast putting it on for you, and I know I say this sometimes. We have more fun putting it on than you guys have playing it, and I think this year I still had more fun. So thanks for letting me do it. I appreciate it, and thanks again to the staff and volunteers who just kick butt, and they let the old man tinker in some stuff sometimes. I tried to stay out of the way, but they did awesome, and yeah, it was a great time. So thanks everybody.
Well, it's we feel the same. You guys kill it, and this community is the best, and we love everything that you do. Jeff, thank you very much for being on the show, and I will see you at the next one. You have a good one. Thanks, buddy.
Take care, everybody. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, Jeff. Bye-bye. All right, so that was Jeff Martin, the creator of True Dungeon, with all kinds of reveals. So if Chris, if you answered that, you asked that question, thank you so much for asking that question. This is your final warning for the form. It's pinned in chat. I'm about to turn it off, and there'll be no more entries available. While that is happening, let's review the prizes. First place, a 25k bar and a single treasure chip. Second place is a 5k bar and a 3x chip. Third place is a 1k bar and a 10x treasure chip. All right, so Chris says welcome. Good. Ben might need to look into RingCon now. Yeah, man. Yeah, might need to look into RingCon. I agree. All right, so I'm now going to go. So I'm going to turn this off. No more. Okay, so give me a second here to hold on. I'm going to make sure there's no duplicates here. So talk amongst yourselves here. Everybody talk amongst yourselves. Just behind the scenes here. Nobody look at what I'm doing here. I'm just going to remove duplicates. Give me a second here. Okay, no duplicates. Perfect. Okay, thank you all for not doing duplicates. Okay, now I'm going to copy everything over into my little thing here. Okay, and now I can share it. Let me just make sure there's no more. All right, so it looks like there are 74 entries. Okay, let me go here. Bada bing, bada boom. Now I'm going to share the screen. All right. Yeah, good luck, everybody. Oh, you know what? This doesn't show the names here. So it might be a little easier to read your name here. So this is the order that everybody entered. So everybody's name here. Jacob was the last one to enter. If you don't see your name here, that means you were too slow. And Ben says, who doesn't need more golden treasure? I'm with you there. Gilstar says, wow, 74 wasn't last time like 55. Yeah, I know, because Jeff is revealing good stuff. That's the good stuff. All right, so let's do it. We're going to do third place first. And that, of course, is the 1K bar and the 10X chip, which is pretty sweet. So this is going to be for third place. Let me grab my old-fashioned pen and paper here. Even though I can watch the video, I like to write it down. All right, so here we go. Good luck, everybody. Third place. Oh, so close, Jeff. Jason Eastman. Now, everybody hopefully read the rules. So Jason now, there's a little bit of delay, needs to say something like, that's me. All right, so all for the lulls, that's you, Jason? Okay, so unless somebody comes in and their avatar name says Jason Eastman, that's going to be the winner there. All right, Jason, nicely done. All right, so that is third place. All right, I'm going to remove your name. And now we go to second place, which is a 5K bar and a 3X chip. That's good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Eric Schroeder, if I'm saying that right, please say hello in chat. Eric Schroeder. It's me. Oh, that's definitely you. Okay, congrats. That was second place. Here we go for first place. A 25K bar and a single chip. It's the good stuff. Katie DeAngelis. Say hello in chat, please. All right, looking for Katie's name. Katie. KT, is that you? Anyone else claims? If not, then that means it's going to be KT. All right, so we'll say that that is KT. She's KT, and David DeAngelis confirms it. But something tells me you guys know each other. All right, so I've got your names. I've got your emails. I will email the winners and ask for your shipping information. I might already have it on the site, but I'll just confirm it. Congratulations to the winners. Third place, Jason Eastman. Second place, Eric Schroeder. First place, Katie DeAngelis. Incredible show, I think, with Jeff, giving us all kinds of good stuff. I hope he'll do a riddle reveal of each of the dungeons on the show. So if you guys like that, you know, please comment in the comment section. Please like and subscribe and all that other stuff. I believe I was at 528 subscribers when we started, so hopefully we can you know, do that liking, subscribing, and sharing, and let people know. I think the more I'm surprised. What am I surprised about? I guess I'm trying to say I wish I was better at this, because there's so many fun things about True Dungeon, and I really want to try to figure out how to spread the word and get more people to watch. So if anybody who's currently watching live or watches this later and you're really good at that YouTube stuff, please let me know. I think I could use some help, because I've been doing this now a few years and I thought we'd be reaching more people. So I'm going to say it's me. You know, what can I do better? So feel free to either email me with ideas, or if you happen to be really great at the YouTube stuff, let me know, because I really want to spread the love of True Dungeon, because it's something for everybody. Something for someone who just plays once a year, or someone who wants to go crazy and collect all the tokens and everything in between. There's trading, there's transmuting. You can do crafter stuff like make things. You can't really see it. So there's just a wide world of fun, and then the most incredible community that makes up True Dungeon. So yeah, please help me spread the word. I see a lot of people here saying thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And until next time, don't forget one of my favorite things to say: it's really hard to frown if you're smiling, so please smile.